This is a video about my pan-European with all its modifications. Some of the stuff's a bit extra to what you normally find. There's going to be timestamps in the video at the bottom, but a quick breakdown of what I'm going to include, or what is included. Be the front extender, rad guard. I'm going to include prices and roughly where I got them or where you can get them. LED headlights, powered camera, short screen, DIY magnetic mount, or how you can mount there. That's pretty rough, but how you can do it. Seat cover. As we come down, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. We've got this, which is the rear luggage rack. That's actually the backrest I just got. I'm going to put on the back seat when I figure out how to put it. So that's a rear luggage mount, rear shelf for a tent, for a large capacity tent, for a 5 kilo tent. And then I've taken the panny off so I can show you the other side. So if we start at the front, and there's also a rear mud guard, which we're obviously going to get into, and obviously a frame protector kit, which is pretty bog standard, which just sticks on. If we start at the front and work the way back, I'll tell you where you can get the bits, what they do, etc, etc, if some of them obviously need that. So starting at the front, we've got the Fenda extender there, which just keeps shit off your radiator. The screws are not the best idea in the world because obviously they end up rusting, so I need to change them out. I think it comes with screws, could be wrong on that. That's about 15-20 quid from bikequip. If you go up under here to prevent stone hits, that's, I can't remember exactly how much, but again that's, I believe that's from bikequip. But this one you actually have to bend yourself, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but that'll stop your radiator getting totally and utterly smashed. So that's well worth the money. I think that's in the region of around about 30 to 40 pounds. If we come up to the LED headlights, these were recommended to me by somebody. If I take my key out there, straighten up, and these are unbelievable. The cut-off's amazing. They're about £30. They're called Novsight, and they're on Amazon. Move the bike around a bit, and these are unreal. Cutout's totally flat. I actually compared these to a normal set of bulbs, and it's totally accurate. It goes along here and then obviously peaks up here. Super white. I need to change these side bulbs. But yeah, these are £30, and on country roads there's just nothing equals to them. They're better than Philips Extremes or anything like that. Best you can get. This is my short screen again. They were 30 quid from Amazon, the LEDs. Short screen I think was about £40 on eBay. So it literally just clears the dash, goes up high enough. Tinted. I got a winter one, I got a tall one for winter. This is a short one for summer. This is brilliant for keeping you cold. This is an SJ4000 camera case, powered case. That goes to the accessory pocket in there. This isn't an actual SJ4000 camera. This is actually a 4K cross tour camera from Amazon. There's two differences. The 720 SJ4000 we record for 8 hours on a 32 gig card, 8 hours continuously, and then obviously it loops over. This will only do 720 at 60 frames, so I think you only get about 4 hours. But the difference, the reason I'm keeping this in comparison to the SJ, obviously if your accessory socket, if you've put an accessory socket in here and it's switched, then when you turn the bike on, the camera will come on. The reason I prefer the cross tour is you can actually set the screen to stay on. So when you ride, you can actually see that the screen's always running. The problem is this little red light here with the SJ, if this goes off, you can't always tell you're recording. So obviously if your lead's a little bit faulty or you're not got probably plugged in. I've actually lost a screw here. You should put thread lock on these, and you should change the actual cable that comes with this, which is a powered split cable, for a regular USB cable. It makes it a lot easier to use it, because you can just take it off, unhook it, take it off and use it with the camera. Make sure your screen's really low when you put them on, and like I said, thread lock that, or put something between the two to actually hold these on, because once you lose one they're a nightmare to find because it's a weird size. That was about 40 quid. The case was about 20 quid. Brilliant bit of kit, loops over itself after so long. With the 4K, you have to set it on 1 minute dash mode, so it loops every sorry, not loops every 1 minute, but it literally records for 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute continuously. And then obviously when it runs out of space, it will loop over the last 1 minute it recorded and keep on going through. So you're getting about 3 hours of constant recording with 1 minute intervals. If you set on anything what 1 minute intervals, unfortunately for some reason it maxes out and actually stops recording after a while. I'm not sure why that is. So you're on a dash cam mode with a powered SJ4000 case. That's for about 70 quid. And I've had a few accidents where people have hit me, and this has been really super invaluable. If you're mounting for the sat nav and your phone and stuff, don't mount down here at all, off here, because you're going to look down and the car in front of you is going to stop. You're going to smash into the rear, so it's not the best place to do it. You can get a mixed mount which goes across here, or bike-quip do a version about 90 quid. This is just a right angle bracket, which came actually on my previous bike, so I've just moved this panel over to this bike. These panels are about 15 quid. Take the screen off, take this off, bolt through, and you can actually put a ram mount on that. This is actually a magnet mount. If you do this, I'd use the cup magnets for the bolts, so you don't have to do these big washers on the back, but that'll bolt through. You need to put an angle bracket on it. Magnets are very, very weak, no matter how strong the magnets are on the downward force, so obviously if you put it on there, eventually it will slide down and it will fall off and smash your phone to pieces. So if you put an angle bracket on there, you can make it a lot neater. This was really rough. This locks onto the front with metal plates on the back of this phone, and it just snaps on the front, and then obviously I can actually lever it off, so it's never going to come off. If it starts getting weak, I can undo the bolt, and these are about £5 each, I think, and just replace them 2 magnets in a few years time. Obviously I need to cut this and make it a bit neater. But that's a cheap way of mounting your phone. You can obviously put a ram ball on there and put an X mount or whatever you want. Moving forward, you've got this, which is a 3D seat mesh. This is amazing. Someone suggested this to me. I don't think you're going to get one that fits both, so what you do is you buy the very biggest one they do. It's a 3D seat mesh cover from eBay, and what you do is you tighten it up as tight as possible with string or cable ties underneath. You'll probably have to slit the front to actually pull the front in to actually get the clearance. And what happens in the summer, for however it works, basically even when the sun's beating down on this, when you get on the bike, the seat's not super hot anymore. In the winter, if this is nice and tight, when it's raining, the water runs down you, runs through the gaps and off the side. You don't get a wet crotch anymore, which is nice. So it does both. Coming around to the rear, this is the shelf. So it's my tent shelf, and this is really, really solid. This is mounted like a tow bar. I'm going to show you the other side in a minute, and show you how I did it. And this is also links into another mod which I've done inside the backlight here. So if I go around like this, you can see mounted like a tow bar. This comes off the rear mount. What I've done is I've actually dented the exhaust underneath here and actually ground flat edge on one side of the spindle bolt, so when I get my tyres changed they can actually pull the bolt straight out, and that obviously means it will clear the exhaust and come straight out, so I didn't have to take off all of this. So this is solid steel bar, really, really solid. Comes down to here. These aren't actually touching, they're close but they're not touching, straight along, and then obviously bolted twice on the shelf. And in the back, which you probably can't see, and I don't have a torch to light up, there is actually a bar here that's bolted. It goes all the way up through the mudguard and goes up, straight up, and attaches on the U-bend of the back brace there, the back support. And I'll get to why that's a good idea in a minute. I mean, that's a good idea for that. Sorry, I'm going out of focus here. But the good thing about this, with bringing the supports to the side, is if I actually load this up, if I ever look and there's ever no gap there, obviously I know the bolts failed, but this gives me a double safe, because obviously it can't clear it, because it'll actually, the bars will hit the exhaust, and the exhaust is very, very strong anyway. But bringing that, when I did that, what actually happened is I came around, if I come around here, inside here, if you've got the newer ones, you've got an ABS unit and you've got an ECU unit. Now, in between the two, if they actually sit right at the back, and there's a shelf, and then what happens if you want to take your brake, if you want to change your brake bulbs, you actually have to take the whole mudguard off, and you have to go up, and in a tiny little gap, and you have to access the brake bulbs there. So what I did is I actually took top box off, took the rack off, took the discs off, took the light off, cut the tray out, left the mudguard in, but actually cut where the actual ECU mounts at an angle, removed that, put the brace bar down the back, obviously through the mudguard to this. That allowed me to mount the ECU on a removable cable tie on the left hand side, tighten, and then basically also I cut the pegs off, the supporting pegs for the front of the mudguard, but it's still very strong. So they're still there, but they're really cut low, and I actually put a flat plate in the bottom of there out of plastic Corex to keep it watertight and to obviously make everything neat and tidy. I could screw through that down into the mudguard if I wanted to. The ABS is over that side, the ECU sits back against the bar, comes right forward. It allows you to access the actual brake bulbs from under the seat, so you can go down, and then obviously it also, so basically it gives you that, and it also gives you a load of space. And I'm going to show you how much space it's actually given me. Again, I don't have a light here, but I've already released this, so if I take this off, so what I have here is I have a old cloth, which my stepdad said I should leave in, which is probably a good idea. I have a full plug kit, have a multi-tool, yeah, have a rechargeable torch, which is a really good bit of kit, have a 27mm socket down there, have a compressor in there, and if I take the compressor out, have a tool bag down in here. I got these on eBay, Amazon, they're about £7. Inside here I've got a full socket set, full Allen key set, ratchet with some extension bars and a couple of other bits. And then behind that I've actually got the ECU, and behind that, you probably can't see it, here's the brace bar that goes down. So basically if I take this out, here you've then got the ECU, that's the Corex there, ABS is here, and sorry I don't have a better light, that goes right the way back, and I can actually lift this out because what I've done is I've actually cut the tape between the two, and I've actually mounted obviously it runs around, the ECU runs around to there, and the ABS comes along here and goes around into that corner, cable tied here. So this can actually be lifted out. I can access both the brake light bulbs, and I can actually access both the indicator bulbs from in the space here, and obviously I can carry all of this. And if I go in here, yeah, it's just tools on tools on tools. So that does everything that I need. That's also there mainly to help other people as well, other people that are bikers that I know sometimes have issues with their bikes. In the top box, so that gives you a massive huge space down there now. And then in the top box, under the right hand side of the carpet, I have a very thick paracord rope for a tow rope, and under this side of the carpet I have a Phillips screwdriver and a soldering iron, a snap-on copy, which is, I believe, the people that make it, which is Pro something. So that is a great way to support a shelf if you do a shelf or a tow bar, but it also gives you a massive space under there. You can see the cable run round here possibly for the ABS, and that's the 27mm socket just sitting in there, sitting next to the ABS. Put a sponge in there, that's just for the rear axle if I ever need to take it off. I do need another bar so I can do both sides at the same time. Maybe I'll get it under the seat, under the carpet. So yeah, that's some modifications you've never seen before. I don't think anyone does the shelf, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to put the timestamps, as I said, at the bottom of the video, and now I'm going to repack all of this back into the bike. And let me know if there's any questions or anything I missed on any of the mods that I've got, on the costs or anything like that. And I hope this helps, and enjoy your pan.